Black Star Network is here.
Hold no punches.
I'm real revolutionary right now. Black power.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland.
Stay black. I love y'all.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, this difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig? Today is Thursday, January 11th, 2024. Coming up on Roland Martin Unfiltered, streaming live on the Black Star Network. Tennessee Republicans continue to silence Democratic State Representative Justin Jones, one of the lawmakers expelled last year. We'll explain why he says House Speaker Cameron Sexton has too much power. Also, I was in Knoxville, Tennessee, at the University of Tennessee for their MLK Leadership Symposium and Awards Luncheon, where I talked to State Representative Gloria Johnson, who is running for United States Senate against Marsha Blackburn. We'll have some of that conversation. Plus, I talked to a pastor who is the co-founder of that event, who was with Dr. King there on April 4th, 1968, when he was assassinated. The Black Ohio woman who suffered a miscarriage in her home is not going to face charges. A Wisconsin kindergartner gets left on a school bus, and the police do little to help to find the child. We'll tell you how the family found their 5-year-old on their own. Seriously. And folks, MLK Day is on Monday. Isn't it time we stop with the niceties around MLK Day, especially this day of service? No, how about this day being a day of protest? We'll break that down as well. It's time to bring the funk on Roland Martin Unfiltered, streaming live on the Black Star Network. Let's go.
Whatever the biz, he's on it. Whatever it is, he's got the scoop, the fact, the find. And when it breaks,
Tennessee Republicans continue to do what they do, and that is screw over the duly elected representatives of black folks. Representative Justin Jones dropped a video on social media saying that he has been removed from the Education Committee, where you have, of course, the governor who is trying to push forward a statewide voucher program. Now, of course, he also was the individual, one of the two black state representatives who was expelled by Republicans. And so they continue to silence them there in the legislature. Watch this.
Hey y'all, we are just leaving the House floor for adjourn until next Tuesday. I just wanted to give you a quick update. As you can see, the Speaker's having his press conference right now. He just announced committee changes for this 2024 year and announced that he was stripping me from Education Administration Committee. I was formerly a member of Agriculture Committee, Government Operations, and Education Administration, but conveniently and coincidentally, the year that the number one issue is going to be their push to try and privatize education, the Speaker has announced that now I will be stripped from that committee and not being returned as other, my colleagues have been returned to their regular committee. But this is just another attempt to try and stack the process and silence voices of dissent against their harmful policies here in Tennessee.
There was another video that he posted on yesterday, so let's play that one.
Yesterday, I witnessed something that really appalled me that are related to these rules. Myself and the Republican Majority Leader, my friend William Lamberth, were trying to get on the elevator, and the Speaker's security put his hand up to Lamberth and said, "You can't get on with the Speaker." He pushed our Majority Republican Leader and said, "You cannot get on with the Speaker." And so I want to make clear that these rules are not about Democrats versus Republicans, but it's about each of us as members and a Speaker who is drunk with power. In these rules, a phrase that keeps
Representative
occurring.
Reagan, you're recognized. Point of order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Please use your microphone, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I asked the clerk to read from Mason's manual about disparaging comments for other members, and I herewith call the gentleman from Davidson County to order. I neglected to mention in my request that Rule 19 be invoked as well in relation to that.
And called to order. That puts us on the board. We are voting. A yes allows the representative to continue speaking. A no vote calls him to order, and we move to the next person on the list. Mr. Clerk, take the vote.
Ayes 20, 68 nays.
We move on to the next person.
Folks, you see there, what they did was last year they passed a rule where if they want to shut you down, they could just call what they just did and stop you from talking, and now you have to sit down and be quiet. I keep telling y'all, these are the people who supposedly love the Second Amendment, but they love to skip over that little troublesome thing called the First Amendment. And so that's really how these Republicans in Tennessee are operating. But it's not just Representative Justin Jones who continues to face these problems. They also are literally targeting people, the voters, the people who sent them there. Representative Justin Pearson, one of the two who was expelled last year, he posted this on social media, on Twitter. How can our constituents be guests in the people's house? Tennessee House GOP, see Section 25. These absurd rules have the number of people in the public who come to see the legislature and advocate for our democracy. Why are democratically elected leaders afraid of the people they serve? And so what you see here from him, you see him holding this guest pass. So if you want to come to the legislature and sit in the gallery, you literally have to go get a guest pass. Why are they doing this? Well, they're angry with the protesters who filled the well last year. They're angry with the the people who are fighting for the end of gun violence. They're angry that they showed up last year in massive numbers chanting and yelling and protesting. They don't like the fact that the public actually had the guts, had the audacity to come there and voice their concern. So not only are they shutting down State Representative Justin Jones, State Representative Justin Pearson, these same individuals are now trying to shut down the public. These are constituents. These are the people who literally sent them there. That's what we are now dealing with. So to understand what is at hand is to see how dastardly these people are and how shameful these people are. So we're going to do this here. We're going to take a break, and we're going to come back, and I'm going to play for you my interview with State Representative Gloria Johnson, who I talked to today at the speech I gave at the University of Tennessee, where she talked about this and also explained how people in Tennessee are fighting back against these fascist Republicans in the state of Tennessee. You're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered right here on the Black Star Network.
Hatred on the streets, a horrific scene, a white nationalist rally that descended into deadly violence.
White people are losing their damn minds.
An angry pro-Trump mob storms the U.S. Capitol. We've seen shooting.
We're about to see the rise of what I call white minority resistance. We have seen white folks in this country who simply cannot tolerate black folks voting.
I think what we're seeing is the inevitable result of violent denial.
This is part of American history. Every time that people of color have made progress, whether real or symbolic, there has been what Carol Anderson at Emory University calls white rage as a backlash.
This is the rise of the Proud Boys and the Boogaloo Boys. America, there's going to be more of this.
Here's all the Proud Boys, guys.
This country is getting increasingly racist in its behaviors and its attitudes because of the fear of white people.
The fear that they're taking our jobs, they're taking our resources, they're taking our women. This is white fear.
What's up, y'all? This is Wendell Haskins, a.k.a. Win Hogan at the Original T Golf Classic. And you know I watch Roland Martin Unfiltered.
Welcome back to Roland Martin Unfiltered. As I said earlier, I was at the University of Tennessee today in Knoxville, speaking at their annual MLK luncheon on the campus there. And one of the folks who they honored was State Representative Gloria Johnson. She's one of the Tennessee Three. She's also running against Marsha Blackburn for the United States Senate. Here is our conversation. Right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. All right. You run for U.S. Senate. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thrilled to be doing it. You know, Tennesseans want to see something different. They want a representative that works for Tennessee working families, because that's not what we're seeing. We've got a representative who's owned by the NRA, Big Pharma, insurance companies. She's not working for Tennessee, and she's working for those who are supporting her campaign. and only 29% of our money comes from Tennessee. So, you know, last time 75% of my money came from Tennessee. We're very proud of that. Tennesseans want someone who cares about what they need.
Do you think that people, because of what happened with the two justices and yourself, and we still see Republicans in the legislature, the speaker, what they're continuing to do, stifling debate.
Not allowing media on the floor for the first time in years. None of the photographers that have been coming on the floor for as long as they've been around, which one of them told me more than 20 years they've been on the floor. And this is the first year. The photojournalists that don't even talk to the members, they're not letting them on the floor.
And then I just saw Justin Pearson, he did a video. They're now requiring guest passes, so the public now has to
get a ticket from a representative. There's 99 tickets, because each member gets a ticket, one ticket. So that means
one ticket?
Yes, one ticket for someone to come up each day.
To come to the Capitol?
To come to the people's house and be in the gallery.
Wow.
There's approximately, give or take, 120 seats on each side of the gallery. So that's only 99 seats they're giving out. There's still more seats. They're allowing space for the lobbyists. Lobbyists typically gather downstairs in front of the TV so they could talk to members. So lobbyists who have access all day long from 8 to 5, plus at the little drinking parties in the evening that they all go to with representatives, they have access all day long. But the people are limited, and they won't let them in the gallery.
So, like for example, so I'm native of Texas, and I can go to the state capitol. I could walk into the building. I could literally walk in, knock on the door, go see my representative, my state senator, and I can then they'll say, hey, you can go sit in the gallery. So I just simply go up. It's not like I need a ticket or anything like that. So this is
it
really.
It used to be that way in Tennessee.
So this is all about. They don't like the fact that those folks were protesting. They don't like the fact that people were exercising their First Amendment rights.
They love the Second Amendment and honor it to the core, even beyond what it says. But the First Amendment, they're not so concerned about.
Yeah, it's maybe how you skip the first, but you want to run to the second.
Yeah.
What we're also seeing, and I've run numerous clips on my show, just the insane things that comes out of Marsha Blackburn's mouth.
Yes.
But do you believe that because of what happened last year, that people woke up, and of course they hate the word woke, but which is really what that's about. People waking up to reality. Telling those mothers you can't hold those signs up.
And you have 511 notebook paper, right?
Do you think people are going that silent majority that frankly Republicans get elected to everything in this state? That these people said, wait a minute, we got to take this thing back. This is ours.
That's what they don't understand. Because I think all they do is go to Republican meetings, the legislature, and maybe church. But they're not talking to just the general public. They're not talking to the general public. I mean, I have so many Republicans that have come to my campaign for two reasons. Well, always they name gun violence and abortion. The third thing that they typically name is the meanness and divisiveness of their party. And they are coming in droves. And I don't think that they understand this. They don't believe the polling that's taking place in Tennessee. But the reality is Tennesseans did wake up. They looked at the Capitol and they didn't like what they saw. And they're paying attention. I get so many text messages because now people are watching from home. They know how to do it now. They know how they can watch session from home. And they're watching from home and they're horrified. And I'm talking about, I'll be approached by Republican county commissioners that say, I love what you all did. You were right. We're talking about people across. It's not a partisan issue. People are sick and tired of this extremism. History has never looked fondly on those who ban books. And now they're saying if they've got legislation, if you don't ban a book, then the person can sue because you didn't. And the school,
Wow.
and the school system will have to fight the legislation, pay to fight.
And
you
that's
know,
that's wasting taxpayer dollars. That's more money. That's good. Yeah.
They can no longer ever claim fiscal conservatism. I'm sorry. Well, they actually call it physical conservatism, but they can no longer claim fiscal conservative in their party.
But not only that, I mean, and again, I've spent time breaking this down. What they did to Nashville, you know, breaking the city, and again, and what kills me is I always hear Republicans talk about local control, big government. Oh, except if we don't run that particular city.
Right.
And frankly, and I think they would try to break up Memphis if they could.
Oh, they have tried. They've done things to Memphis as well. The whole thing is several years back. They wouldn't let cities and counties name their own parks, and they didn't want to change the name of Nathan Bedford Forest Park. Memphis wanted to, but the state didn't want them to change it. Right. And one of the reasons we have a huge problem in affordable housing in Tennessee is because of their preemption of locals to do what they need to do to create more affordable housing and build more facilities for affordable housing. They preempt locals from being able to do what's needed. So it's remarkable.
Are you seeing, because this is also being part of the problem, where you've had national Democrats, and Reverend Barber and I talk about this all the time, they blow off the South. They go, especially, and I'm being very frank, largely white consultants. Oh, look, those are uneducated people. That's the South we can't win. I've always said, first, if you don't run, you're guaranteed not to win.
Right.
And part of the problem then, if you don't run, then what you have is you have all of these folks who are running unelected, and they're winning because they never got challenged. And so in North Carolina, in so many other places, and what we're now seeing is we're now seeing people who are now running against these Republicans in Tennessee. So the number of people who are running unopposed is dropping big time because people are saying, hey, we have to rebuild this infrastructure.
And what people really don't understand, that we no longer have a path to a Senate majority because of Manchin. So we've got to flip a state. Now, do you want to flip a state that's massive and costs $200 million to flip, or do you want to flip a state like Tennessee that you can flip with $20 million? You know, I mean, you know, I want us to invest in every single state.
Right.
But there are some places with have far fewer media markets that you invest a little bit, it goes a long way and makes a difference.
Right.
So invest in all the states, but don't leave out certain states because you think they can't do it. Quite frankly, Phil Bredesen, when he ran against Marsha Blackburn for Senate, only was down 11 points. You know, it's not that far.
So you really believe that you can take her out in Tennessee?
What I'm seeing on the ground, this coalition that we are building that is not going to be divided, we can absolutely beat her. It's going to require investment from Democrats and at the DSCC and everything else. I hope they should be starting to see in just a month, from a very conservative Republican think tank poll, within a month, my numbers went from 24 to 36. So, you know, we're moving in Tennessee, even with a bad poll. So we haven't even started ours yet, but I think that people are going to be surprised, and I think an investment in Tennessee is an investment in a win.
All right. Always good to see you.
Good to see you,
I
too.
appreciate it.
Thanks so much for being here and being in Knoxville.
All right. My panel is Reese Colbert, host of The Reese Colbert Show on Sirius XM Radio out of D.C. Dr. Greg Carr, Department of Afro-American Studies, Howard University out of D.C., host of The Black Table on the Black Star Network. Greg, I'll start with you, being from Tennessee. Republicans are back to their usual ways, how that they are fascist. They want to shut down, they want to stifle debate, they want to shut it down. We see what they're doing to the two justices. We see how also what they're doing to keep the public out of the State House. You heard Representative Gloria Johnson say, oh, they got space set aside for the lobbyists, but every lawmaker only gets one guest pass to allow constituents to sit in the gallery. And remember, these are also people who last year ordered people to take they were holding signs up in committee hearings and declared that to be illegal, and the courts told them, no, it's not. I mean, this shows you how the Republicans are operating on the state level and the federal level.
It really does. And it was very interesting to listen to your conversation there with Gloria Johnson, Roland, because when you talk about a silent majority, certainly the hillbilly horde has its voters out there in rural Tennessee. I grew up in Nashville, the center of the state. And of course, we know Memphis in the west, which is basically Mississippi, and where you were today in Knoxville, University of Tennessee, Knoxville, the hill country, of course. But there are a lot of those rural areas in Tennessee where these folk keep returning these white nationalists to office. But she was right about Phil Bredesen, who was within striking distance, really, the former mayor of Nashville, who could have become, in fact, a United States senator. But I think, you know, having grown up there, I think where these hillbillies are really risking it all, and they have to risk it all. I know why, because they're white nationalists and they know that their thing is getting ready to fracture. They're risking it all with their impotence. See, one thing about these white boys in places like Tennessee, the Appalachian South and places like that, they hate being told what they can't do. You remember Tennessee, like much of the South, was solidly Democratic up until the 1980s and 90s. I grew up in the era of places like Ray Blanton and others, the governor of Tennessee. Ray Blanton and them got in trouble when they started stealing money, when they started acting with impotence, when they started basically ignoring the voters and acting that they can do what they want. This is what Cameron and them going to find out. If they keep this up, some of these people are going to say, you know what, in my heart, I got some different things about race and gender, but I don't like that y'all trying to keep me out of the legislature. Well, you going to Nashville? No, I ain't going to Nashville, but damn it, I don't like that you try. They are risking it all. And Gloria Johnson is right. $20 million could flip that state simply on the fact that they'll set race aside when it gets to the point where they think you're thumbing your nose at me. They may come out and vote them out.
The thing that I think is important that we talked about there, Reese, is that you can't beat anybody if you never run.
That's true.
And one of the biggest problems historically for the Democratic Party, and the reason I specifically said white strategists, is, and we saw this during the midterms, where you had this anonymous strategist who told Politico, let's ignore these places where we don't have a lot of college-educated voters, which sounded very similar to what Bernie Sanders supporters were saying in 2016 during the primaries. And this idea that, let's only appeal to the places where we have lots of white college-educated voters who live in the suburbs. Well, ain't that many places like that in America. And I think what has happened in Tennessee, if Democrats properly mobilize and organize, there were, to Greg's point, it was a lot of people pissed off last year over the issue of a mass shooting. And these Republicans, they come back, and what they do is they actually vote on immunity for a gun manufacturer. And then, and then they wanted to silence the people. And when you keep doing that, people say, what the hell is going on? This is the moment where I believe, again, where Democrats have to play long ball, and you might lose in the next 2, 4, 6, 8 years, but you have to actually build something to actually win one day.
No, I agree with you. I think that the difference between Democrats and Republicans is Democrats want to win every news cycle. They want to win every election. And Republicans play for generations. I mean, we talked about it leading up to the 2020 election, how it's a generational election. And we've said that every election. I know it's getting old by now, but it's really the truth. And so you do have to really build that infrastructure. You have to be relentless with it the same way that Republicans are relentless. We're talking about people who have a supermajority, who Democrats are not even striking distance of, even with their protests and Justin Jones saying whatever he wants to say in these committee hearings, it's not going to change the outcome of the vote. But Republicans are so relentless that they don't even want the conversation to happen if it goes against their political interests. And so I'm not saying that Democrats should be like Republicans, but I think that Democrats should really look at how Republicans leave no stone unturned in their quest for power, to keep power, to gain more. And, they need to start investing more. There's so much money that was put into Florida, which has gotten increasingly red in a number of places. But the reality is you could probably get a pretty good bang for your buck in Tennessee. And I'm not hearing a lot about the Senate in 2024. So I don't know if they just written it off like, well, I guess the Republicans are going to get that. And, they just hoping to hold on to the White House. But we have a lot of work to do in 2024. And I don't think we're in a position to take anything for granted or leave any race uncontested.
Well, I think that is that is the position. When you hear people talk about the very, very narrow path forward for Democrats to keep control of the United States Senate, what you hear with Joe Manchin retiring, or I dare say, Greg, refusing to man up and run against the billionaire governor, they're saying, oh, we're going to lose that seat. So we have to hold on to Sherrod Brown's seat in Ohio, to the seat in Nevada, in order to maintain control of the United States Senate. They don't bring up Tennessee. And if you don't make the effort, and we saw a lot of those pissed off white women, not just with abortion, but the issue of gun violence. Then Greg, I got no problem saying it, you put in the Taylor Swift factor. This is, I don't care what anybody says. I don't care about the haters or whatever. This is a young white woman who has used her platform to register people, to mobilize people, and who's made it clear that we need to see changes. Can they beat Blackburn? It's an uphill climb. But the most guaranteed way to lose is never make the attempt.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's funny, today, Roland, in advance of the Martin Luther King holiday on Monday, we were in a hip hop class, and I was talking about the context out of which the holiday became a holiday. And we talked about, John Conyers and in Atlanta in 1971 and coming forward. And I linger for a moment on the moment when Jesse Jackson ran for president in 1984. And of course, that really was right in the moment after the big rally in D.C., 20th anniversary of the March on Washington, where Stevie Wonder, kind of led that march. And I was reflecting on the fact that, and thinking about it in this context, the South hasn't been blood red white nationalists very long. I remember when Jackson ran for president in 84, it was a multiracial coalition of organizers. I was a sophomore at Tennessee State, in fact, at the time, and going to meetings, and you had white folk, Latinos, black folk primarily, but people who wanted a different kind of vision. And Tennessee was still Democratic. This is around the time of the rise of Lamar Alexander, if you remember. And if he were around now running in the same platform he ran back in the 80s, they might consider him a centrist Democrat, certainly more so than a funky-ass Joe Manchin. I'm saying all that to say this. The Democratic Party, with an investment of resources, and we've seen it in Georgia, we need to see it more in places like Louisiana and Mississippi, and we can see it in Tennessee with this cycle, can certainly go out there, register voters, energize voters, create the network. And yes, maybe they don't beat Marsha Blackburn this time. Maybe they do. Certainly Gloria Johnson seems like an ideal candidate to run against her, but they can build that infrastructure. Finally, and you've talked about this extensively, as much time as you spent in the 19th century educating us about Reconstruction and what happened, we've seen this before. When they created the Jim Crow laws in the late 19th century, they did it at the expense of white voters as well, through state referenda that allowed them to rewrite those constitutions in the states, in the southern states. They excluded white voters as the price of being able to create their racial power. These white voters in Tennessee are being excluded, except unlike the 19th century, they can see what's happening in real time. And if the Democratic Party could gain some guts, some ovaries, some testicles, they could go in there and say, look, they don't want y'all to participate either. And that kind of populism that delivered an Al Gore Sr., that delivered that could be revived in a place like Tennessee. This is what William Barber's been saying all along.
And let me say this here, and again, this is going to be very bothersome to some of these hardcore blue people. You also are going to have to accept the reality that you might have some anti-abortion Democrats who run from some of these southern states, but who might agree with you on 8 other issues. And this is one of those things that, Reese, again, where the people get locked into their ideological positions. And that is, guess what? You may have some individuals who are not going to be hardcore pro-choice. But it comes down to who do you want in the position? And again, it's just one of those things that I think that people are not understanding, again, religious values, not understanding upbringing, not understanding family values. And Democrats, I believe, have to understand, and it's hard for some people to understand this here, that you're going to have somebody who's in Arkansas, who's in South Carolina, who's in North Carolina, who's in Mississippi, Alabama, Texas, Florida, who is not going to be like somebody in Ohio, in Rhode Island, in Maine. You're going to have to accept some of that in order to win, because the goal is to win.
I will concede that point, that an abortion would be a non-negotiable for me, but I'm also fortunate enough to be in a blue-ass state, so I can have that litmus test for myself. I think I've always said, if you can win the primary, then go for it. You know, if a anti-choice Democrat can beat a pro-choice Democrat, then them's the breaks, and that's
and the reason I'm
happens.
saying that, because the guy who got 47% of the vote in Mississippi. His name is escaping me.
Brandon Presley.
Yeah.
Elvis's cousin,
Presley?
yeah.
Okay.
Brandon Presley was anti-abortion. Okay. Now, when you looked at him on a bunch of other issues, it lined up. Again, it's just to me, it's understanding politics and power. And again, that's just one of the issues. And for some people, there are issues that are, hey, it does not matter. This is where they stand. I'm not supporting anybody who isn't there. But what I'm saying is that if you look at the map right now, Democrats have not done well because they aren't understanding how to win in the South. And they're not creating a strategy. We saw what happened in Georgia. The roadmap is there. If all of these billionaire Democratic donors, okay, would frankly stop throwing their money at useless entertainment shit and do what a lot of these Republican donors are doing and go, okay, how much is it going to take for us to organize and mobilize in Louisiana? 30, 40, 50 million dollars? Let's now do that. How much is it going to, and look at the map to go, okay, because if I look at the southern map right now, Reese, so you take Georgia. Georgia's now competitive. Now, granted, Republicans have won statewide, but obviously 2 United States senators, but it's actually competitive. Now you go, okay, Georgia, North Carolina, you get some real infrastructure, and I think Nikki Fried is doing that in Florida. Now you throw in, you say Louisiana, and you say Texas. Now you say, now let's create a blueprint to now be able to go after young voters, hit the ground, mobilize, organize, enlighten, educate Latino voters, and now you can start competing. But if you ain't got a strategy and you're not gonna fund that strategy, we're gonna keep having the same thing, guarantee electoral college votes to the Republicans in all those states.
I agree. I think that where Democrats need to focus on is, as you already pointed out very clearly, is infrastructure, but I would also add information. Republicans invest in information. They invest in disinformation. They invest in misinformation. They invest in their networks, in their media, in their influencers, and a number of things. I mean, they have an entire reality that they've been able to shape. And we've seen how investing in their own information helps drive the mainstream media. Look at what happened with Dr. Claudine Gay. That story about this fake plagiarism started with right-wing media. And then, of course, the mainstream media, white media, they can't resist picking up these right-wing talking points. And so Democrats, I've been yelling it for years, need to start investing in information, because right now what a majority of Democratic voters are getting is the relentless disinformation and misinformation. And that's why people feel so disillusioned. And that's why there is so much room for people's feelings as opposed to the facts of what's actually been delivered and what's at stake in 2024 and beyond.
Well, and I think that's because, frankly, liberal and progressive voters, in their minds, and I think this is when I say you're so smart, you're dumb. In their minds, oh, No, we've got New York Times and Washington Post and NPR, and we've got MSNBC, and we've got CNN. We've got all these mainstream media outlets where we think that they're going to do a fair way. And as you said, those places, they get sucked into the game every single time. Yep. Christopher Rufo said, we ginned this thing up on the Republican side, embarrassed them and forced them to cover it, and once we knew it got into mainstream, then it was done. You're absolutely right. And so, I mean, you got, right now, The Messenger was created last year, launched for $50 million. They hired 300 people. I was like, y'all not going to survive. They're running out of money. The guy who's funding Tucker Carlson's deal is looking at buying them for $60 million. They ain't made money. This show has actually made a profit since March 2020, okay? And and let me be real clear, and this is not, okay, well, I'm begging for somebody to come in, but you have not had a single progressive donor, rich black person say, hey, wait a minute, how can we help build this thing into 15 shows? Right. They're not doing that. Where you're absolutely right. Republicans, those billionaires, you look at what they've now done with PragerU. PragerU now has their educational material in these red states now in K through 12. Yep. Okay, and that started because two Texas billionaires gave them $7 million to start. They raised $22 million in year one. They raised $25 million in year two. That's $47 million bucks. And then you look at Daily Caller, Daily Wire, Daily Signal. You look at Breitbart. Look at all of these. What they understood was, if you win the information war, that's 75% of the war, because that's hearts and minds.
And they only want to give black people 4 figures. They don't even, you got to beg and plead to justify 4 figures, not 5, 6, 7 figures. And so that's why we continue to be behind the ball. It's not going to be enough just to swoop in months before the election or once or twice a year and to humor us a little bit. You have to invest in the information. Until the Democrats figure that out, they're going to keep getting their ass handed to them. They're going to keep seeing these poll numbers where Trump is competitive with people that are not at all remotely ideologically aligned, that he offers nothing policy-wise to, because they're winning the information war. This isn't just messaging. Right. It goes beyond messaging. Information is the basics that we operate in, and Democrats consistently lose the information war because they're not even fighting it.
No, you're absolutely right. And before I go to break, I'm going to show y'all this here. I just pulled this up. When it happened, I said this was the dumbest thing in the world. Here you had a major progressive media outlet called Think Progress. They were a part of the Center for American Progress, but they were actually their own group. Well, CAP put them up for sale. Now, they had declining revenue, declining traffic, and donations, okay? They were running a deficit. No buyer was found. This was a major progressive media outlet that they allowed to die in 2019. So look, I want everybody to look at that date. They ended publication on September 5th, 2019. That was 1 year and 1 day after we launched this show. And so you don't allow our major information vehicle to shut down. No, you figure out, how do we keep this thing going? Because that's what you need. The right has major amplification. They have, and they're hitting you Fox News on television, conservative radio, digital operations. And so you're getting it 360 degree. And from the progressive side, and we already know from the black side. In fact, we're going to go to a break, and I'm going to play for you. It was something that Congressman Hakeem Jeffries said during the funeral of Congresswoman Etta Bernice Johnson that captured my attention. And I'm going to play it for you, and it's a perfect example of even why black-owned media, when you don't fund black-owned media, why certain things don't happen. We'll show you that next on Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network.
Grow your business or career with Grow with Google's wide range of online courses, digital training, and tools. Gain in-demand job skills with flexible online training programs designed to put you on the fast track to jobs in high-growth fields. No experience is necessary. Learn at your own pace. Complete the online certificate program on your own terms. Stand out to employers, get on a path to in-demand jobs, and connect with top employers who are currently hiring. Take one professional career certificate program or all 6. Earn a Google Career Certificate to prepare for a job in a high-growth field like data analytics, project management, UX design, cybersecurity, and more. All professional career certificate programs must be completed by December 31st, 2024. Scan the QR code to complete the application. There are 1,000 scholarships available. Grow with Google and J. Hood and Associates. Be job ready and qualify for in-demand jobs.
On the next Get Wealthy with me, Deborah Owens, America's Wealth Coach, we're talking about the difficulty of being able to acquire wealth for Black Americans. My guest, Emily Flitter, is the author of The White Wall: How Big Finance is Bankrupting Black America.
The bad stuff that you feel when you're dealing with the financial services industry is not your fault. It's not your fault, and you don't deserve to be treated like this.
That's right here on Get Wealthy, only on Black Star Network.
Hey, yo, what's up? This is Mr. Dalvin right here. What's up? This is KC, sitting here representing the JODECI, that's Jodeci, right here on Roland Martin Unfiltered.
So y'all have often heard me talk about on this show the last 5 years about why we have to fund Black-owned media, why we have to invest the resources, why we are out here fighting the good fight, trying to get these dollars to be able to do what we do. And during the funeral of Congresswoman Aderrien Johnson at Concord Church in Dallas on Tuesday, Democratic Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries said this during his eulogy of Johnson.
Now, in that first term, the chair of the CBC, she's now our great HUD secretary, was Marsha Fudge. She said to Stephen Horsford and I want the two of you to preside over the CBC floor speech that occurs every Monday evening after votes. And so we said yes. We didn't know what we were doing, y'all. But we said yes. And the thing about it is that the CBC floor speeches, an hour, Monday evening, people all across town, not covered on CNN, not covered on MSNBC, not covered on BET. It's covered on C-SPAN. And so Stephen and I, we were never quite sure who exactly was paying attention. But we could always count on 3 people. Stephen's mother, my mother, and Aderrien Johnson, our congressional mother. We were thankful for her always there for us as she has been for so many people.
So let me unpack that, all right? So you heard him say, we have this hour where we give all these speeches, and mainstream media doesn't cover it. It's not on BET, and it's only on C-SPAN. Now understand what I'm about to lay out to you. That part of his sermon and the entire funeral, we live streamed. Nobody else in Black-owned media. Damn sure not mainstream media. They didn't live stream the funeral. We did. So now, if you went to the Concord Church website, you could actually see the funeral. We chose to then amplify it. So why am I saying that? That's a perfect example of what happens when you fund your own media. The things that other people don't cover and talk about, then we can. Jahan LeBlanc sent me a text message saying, Roland, love to come back on the show, and thank you for putting me on the show. Because I came on your show, you put me on, I'm now doing TV shows all across the continent of Africa. I want that to sink in, y'all. So not only do you cover things that other people don't believe are important, you also are able to put voices on who otherwise would never see the light of day, that we know the cable networks are never going to call. And now you're creating new opportunities. And so now what this does is, to what the point that Reese was making before we went to the break, when you talk about from a progressive perspective, what you then do is you now are not beholden to what is being said on a few nationally syndicated black radio shows that are not black owned. They're not, very few of them are, okay? Now, Urban One syndicates, Russ Parr's show is off the air. Donnie Simpson's last day is tomorrow. Urban One syndicates Ricky Smiley, D.L. Hughley, Erica Campbell. They're black owned. That's it. The Breakfast Club, that's iHeartRadio. Steve Harvey Morning Show, that's iHeartRadio. Okay, so those are not black owned. And so, and I said to everybody, I said, which is in the impetus, and I need people to understand, the impetus for launching this show, I said, Tom Jonah retires in December 2019, and black people are going to rue the day when Tom retires. Because you do not have that type of energy and focus on news of the day, of issues of the day, of politics, on any show the way Tom focused it. So when you talk about creating an ecosystem, then you're not worrying about if will CNN show up, because guess what? You got your own cameras, you're doing your own messaging, you're kicking. That's what the conservative folks figured out. They said, damn them, we're gonna create this whole ecosystem, and we're gonna create all the voices, all the personalities. We're gonna all support each other and build this sucker up. And that's why, Reese and Greg, I have been saying, even in the black space to folks, you got black-owned media people. When I started this, I went to every major black-owned media company. Nobody wanted to partner. And I was like, guys, do y'all not see what's going on? Do y'all not see where we're going? And this is a problem, because there are news deserts, there are information deserts. And so not only do you have people who are not getting information, as you said, Reese, they are being force-fed so much BS, misinformation, disinformation, and they're not getting, people are criticizing, Democrats ain't this. No one then says, I'm sorry, what do you mean by that? Please explain that. See, you ain't hearing any of that. You're not hearing somebody. We did it on yesterday. We showed people, if you're a family of four and you're making 60 grand, you're gonna pay $0 for student loans. How many other places out there are walking people through those things? Right today, you have seen the explosion of people signing up for the Affordable Care Act, breaking records 3 years in a row, many of them in red states as well. Where else are they actually talking about it? America's now producing more oil than we ever have, but the right wing keeps saying, oh no, we ain't producing any oil because Biden won't let us drill. It's all a lie. You cannot let lies stand, and you can't sit there and go, oh, I hope so-and-so host bust that lie, and then you watch it and you go, did they just allow them to lie and kept moving? Yes, they did. That is part of this problem, Reese.
Yeah. And stop expecting black people to do all the labor for free, too. You know what I'm saying? Because the thing about the information ecosystem is those people are getting paid, okay? That's why Candace Owens, her weave done got upgraded. Her edges is straightened out a little bit. She got a nice little house, and all these other people, they're coming up in the world, you know? And yet we're expected to show up and do things out of the goodness of our heart, which we do because we care about our community and our culture, but hello, invest in Black media, invest in the Black information system, because other people are investing. It's just to our detriment. And that's what we have to recognize, because this election is do or die, and I just am not seeing the energy. I'm not seeing the urgency or the severity on any side, not on the Democratic elected side, the Democratic machine side, and certainly not on the Democratic electorate side.
The thing for me, Greg, and I know you feel the same, again, there's nothing worse than grossly uneducated people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's nothing worse. And I never thought of myself this way until Maya Angelou actually said it to me. When she says, no, she said, oh, I watch you. You're a teacher. You teach. And that's really what is missing. And as we are going into this King Day, I go back to what Dr. King said when he called on the Negro press to, as he said, maintain its militancy, and not become what he called conservative organs. I mean, this is in his book, y'all. Where do we go from here? Chaos or community? And I've said it many times before, and y'all can tell I actually read the book because you see how I got highlighted. He said there are 4 institutions. He said structured. See y'all. Yeah, y'all have actually read the Bible, and you like, hold up, I missed that the first time. This is the key. He says there are already structured forces, meaning they're already in place. They have infrastructure that can serve as the basis for building a powerful united front. He mentions 4: Negro Church, Negro Press, Negro Fraternities and Sororities, Negro Professional Associations. He says point blank, too many Negro newspapers have veered away from their traditional role as protest organs agitating for social change and have turned to the sensational and the conservative in place of the substantive and the militant. Greg, I've had more people hit me and say, Roland, when are you going to weigh in on Cat Williams' interview on Club Shay Shay with Shannon Sharp? And I said, I will not. Now, here's the deal. I can pull up right now, and I did it earlier. When I was in the car, I was on the plane, I was in the car coming here. I've seen about 10 or 15 other people give their thoughts and reactions to the Cat Williams interview. And the views range from 200,000 to 1.5 million.
Yes, sir.
Now,
yes,
I mean, they're watching. So if I did something, it's probably going to do 200,000, 300,000, 400,000, 500,000 or more views. The more views you get on YouTube, you're going to increase more money.
Yep.
But right here, King said, have turned to the sensational and the conservative in place of the substantive and the militant. We have enough gossip blogs. We have enough mess organs. We have enough drama-induced publications. What we don't have enough are real substantive outlets. And I will not do it just to get those views, because I would feel so awful that I would feel like I gotta take a shower every hour on the hour, because that means you fall into that pit. And that's really where we are. We are in a situation where it's so much bullshit that is being fed to us that we are literally gorging on mess. And right across the street, right across the way, they literally are saying, oh, y'all keep eating that mess. Keep eating that mess. Because we going to sit here and blow your asses up come January 2025 when we put in place Project 2025. And you got Elon Musk right now siding with folks blaming black folk for the damn door of the Alaska Airlines plane coming off and blaming that stuff on DEI. And we as black people We are eating the mess up. I mean, I'm talking about black people, and this is not a diss of Shannon. It's not a diss of Kat. But black folk are eating this up like we did them Popeyes chicken sandwiches.
No question about it. Well, I mean, Roland, and you're going to have to help us all, brother, with this, it seems to me. When Dr. King was writing, he was writing in the era, of course, pre-internet, and those institutional forces were at their strength. When you mentioned the interview, Cat Williams and Shannon Sharpe, and I thought about you a lot in watching this viral thing, 43 million and counting views on the initial interview just after 8 days on Shannon Sharpe's Club Shay Shay. And everyone responding, eating, so to speak, as the young people would say. Everybody eating off this. Everybody responds. Ice Cube responds. Even Ludacris does a rap response. Everybody. And then, of course, your homie, Willie D, has a subsequent interview that's racked up several million just in the several days it's been posted. And I thought to myself, I wish, you would deconstruct for us how this viral phenomenon works and kind of cascades down. But I want to put it in another context. Our friend and brother, Martin Lamont Hill, who Byron Allen positioned on his Griot network, and I guess April Ryan is sliding in there to do this daily news and weekly commentary. Nobody watching on cable, nobody watching on YouTube. Mark taking a page from you, taking a page from those who have kind of had a kind of metronome daily presence in the news kind of commentary vein, but doing it in a way that kind of blends in some of that sensationalist stuff, has launched his YouTube channel, and the way you understand from listening to you, with consulting with folks who know what they're doing.
Oh, no. He didn't take a page. No, what happened was he was in the car with his new wife, and she was like, where in the hell is your YouTube page? And he was, he was in the car, and he called me on a Saturday, and he said, hey, man, can you really make money with this stuff? And so I read for him the last 6 months of the revenue that we generated with our YouTube channel. And I said to him, and he had it on speaker, and his wife was like, see? And because Mark just got married. And so she was like, yo, you out here doing all this sort of stuff, but what are you building? And I've been telling Mark, and he'll tell you, 5-7 years, Mark, stop chasing them checks, build something. Fortify yourself against someone else controlling your voice. Because he got fired at Fox News, he got fired at CNN because of his position on Assad al-Shakur as well as the Palestinians. And so we had multiple conversations. I said, Mark, I was Mark Lamont Hill's first subscriber on his YouTube channel. I said, Mark, launch the damn channel. I said, and you have to build it. I said, stop putting stuff on Instagram and Twitter. I said, drive your people over to YouTube. He said, man, my goal by the end of December is to have 25,000 people. He had some great interviews on Al Jazeera. I said, Mark, trust me, you're going to get the numbers. You're going to be able to enroll in YouTube's ad revenue sharing plan. By the end of December, he had 79,000 subscribers. He wanted to have 25,000. So the whole point was we're now living in a new world. And
that's what I'm getting.
And in fact, I was watching, and understand, I had people, John Hope Bryan keeps telling me, man, you should charge people. I said, John, that ain't what I do. I was watching Mark's broadcast, and I was like, yo, change your crawl, change this is too small, can't see this here, and understanding how you actually do it. Because the whole point is you have to create the additional platforms, as I said, to fortify from market forces. If I was still waiting for a white network to call me, I would be in a hospice right now if I waited. And there are a lot of black people, I know them personally, they are sitting here waiting for others to call. They're not creating the opportunities. I know I saw all the mess when people were trying to say, Vivica, why ain't you supporting Taraji? I'm not going to get into all of that, but let me explain to you why Vivica answered the way she did. Because Vivica has been producing and directing her own. People are like, man, that shit you doing, Vivica, it's going straight to video. Do y'all know how many movies every year go straight to video? But guess what? It's a check involved. And so this is the problem for so many of our people. And I'm going to say this right now, and this is a fundamental problem with many of our people. Our people, we have got to stop being so focused on white validation.
Right.
Oh, man, you ain't shit. I mean, all you got is a YouTube channel. There's a little kid who has been making $10 million a year unwrapping toys on YouTube for the past 5 years. $10 million a year. Understand, that's the new world. Understand that YouTube has YouTube TV, mainstream channels that are on another one of their platforms. So we are so caught up, and I'm going to go ahead and go there. Negroes are so caught up in the equivalent of when Armani and Hugo Boss and Louboutin and Chanel and Tiffany and all this sort of purses and shoes, and we're broke as hell because we are praying and hoping to be on somebody white's platform where they control the content, own the content, control the staff, hire you and can fire you, as opposed to, as King was talking about, building and creating. There is no Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. without Ebony, without Jet, without Chicago Defender, without Atlanta Daily World, without the Pittsburgh Courier, without those black institutions. And that, to me, and so we're combining two different things. If you're not building black-owned media institutions, if progressives are not building progressive media institutions, then you're at the mercy of somebody else. And then you wonder, man, well, why we can't get the word out? Because you ain't built shit.
Well, Roland, this is where I think we need help to understand how these two pieces connect. Because Black Star Network is an infrastructure. And people say, oh, it's YouTube. No, it's much more than YouTube. You're the one who taught us all, certainly taught me, the meaning of the acronym OTT. And every time you say, okay, you gotta go to Amazon over here, you can look at Facebook, sure, YouTube, sure, the app, all these things, and the network is built. As you mentioned, these white boys getting ready to rain natural fire, not just on the United States, but on the world with this 2025 business that they're planning at the Heritage Station.
Okay, see. let me just go ahead and sorry to interrupt you there, Greg, because I need everybody watching right now. Matter of fact, I'm gonna do this here. I'm gonna go to a break, and I'm gonna need all y'all to buckle up, because when I come back, we gonna discuss TUBI. Tubi. And I'm gonna share some stuff about Tubi that's gonna blow a whole bunch of y'all out of your living rooms, out of your car, out of your dorm rooms. Let me go to the break. I'll be right back.
When you talk about blackness and what happens in black culture, we're about covering these things that matter to us, speaking to our issues and concerns.
This is a genuine people-powered movement.
There's a lot of stuff that we're not getting. You get it, and you spread the word.
We wish to plead our own cause. Too long have others spoken for us.
We cannot tell our own story if we can't pay for it.
This is about covering us.
Invest in black-owned media.
Your dollars matter. We don't have to keep asking them to cover our stuff. So please support us in what we do, folks.
We want to hit 2,000 people, $50 this month, raise $100,000. We're behind 100,000, so we want to hit that. Y'all money makes this possible.
Checks and money orders go to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. The Cash App is $RM Unfiltered. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle is Roland at RolandSMartin.com.
I'm Dee Barnes, and next on The Frequency, we're talking about the rise in great Black literature and and the authors who are writing it. Joining me would be professor and author Donna Hill, discussed her writing journey and becoming a best-selling author.
I always was writing, but I never saw anybody that looked like me in the books that I was reading.
Plus, her work with the Center for Black Literature and next year's National Black Writers Conference. That's right here on The Frequency on the Black Star Network.
Next, on the Black Table with me, Dr. Greg Carr, author Dr. Aderrien Murry, on her astounding and enlightening new book, White Philanthropy, a history we're betting you've never heard before. Don't miss an eye-opening episode of The Black Table, only on Black Star Network.
On the next, A Balanced Life with me, Dr. Jackie, just who do you think you are? And maybe more importantly, who is it that you think you're trying to please? The answer to that second question is really wrapped up in the first. Think about that. Being the true, authentic you, no matter the circumstance.
But we learn the art of forgiveness, not only of forgiving one another, but forgiving ourselves. And we also learn how to love ourselves so that we can love each other.
That's next on A Balanced Life, here on Black Star Network.
This is Reggie Roth-Byfield. You're watching
Roland Martin, unfiltered, uncut, unplugged, and undamn believable. You hear me?
All right, so y'all made me have to stand up for this one. I was trying to sit down, and I was gonna do this in a couple of weeks, but Greg said something there that I just said, I got to do this right now. How many of y'all remember In Living Color? How many of y'all remember Rock? How many of y'all remember South Central? Okay? Guess who owned that network? Just come on. Rupert Murdoch. So let me explain to y'all how we got Fox News. Okay? They launched Fox Broadcasting. They put on black content. We run to Fox. Live in color. Do y'all know why there is a Pepsi and now Apple Music halftime show at a Super Bowl? Because 1 year In Living Color put on their own Super Bowl halftime show, and all these eyeballs left the Super Bowl and they went over to the In Living Color halftime show, and the NFL said, oh, hell no. That's when you got the big halftime performances and they turn into major extravaganzas because of In Living Color. Why did Keenan Ivory Wayans quit and his family leave? Because what Fox started doing was putting In Living Color reruns on Fox stations, driving down the syndication value of In Living Color, and they let we ain't gonna produce any more shows because y'all cheating us out our money. What did Fox then do with the money made from black people building up Fox? They landed the NFL. NFL used to be on NBC and CBS. Monday Night Football was on ABC. Fox offered $1 billion plus for the NFL rights, and that's when it went from CBS over to Fox. But guess what happened after they got to NFL? Bye-bye In Living Color, bye-bye Rock, bye-bye South Central, bye-bye all of the black programming. Now, some of y'all watching me right now, some of y'all saying, Okay, Roland, I mean, that's all that history. I mean, you just bringing up old stuff. Why are you sitting here? Why are you sitting here bringing up old stuff? What has been all the rage for the last year? What? Hold up. What have you heard, Greg and Reese? Man, did y'all see that movie on Tubi? You need to get on Tubi. You need to get on Tubi. You need to get on Tubi. You need to get you a movie on Tubi. You need to get on Tubi. You need to get on Tubi. Go to my iPad. Tubi sees impressive growth with over 74 million monthly active users. Keep it right there. Send it right here. Do y'all know who owns Tubi? Pull a picture up. Who owns Tubi? He does.
Wow.
What is Fox doing? Black people, listen to me.
Good Lord.
Listen to me, black people. You built Fox Broadcasting, which gave them the financial wherewithal to get the NFL. They get the NFL, build up the financial wherewithal to launch Fox News. Now we're living in a digital world.
Yes, sir.
And what is Tubi doing? Black content, black content, black content, black content. They dropping I see all the Instagram posts, the Twitter posts, my movie on Tubi, my movie on Tubi, movie on Tubi. And guess what? Their numbers are blowing up. Their numbers are blowing up. Black people, you are turning Tubi into one of the largest fast channels, which is basically a digital channel. They're doing it with black content. Look at it right there. Look at all these. Y'all, look at this. This is how they're competing against Netflix and the rest of them. Black, 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 black. Do y'all understand that Fox sold its entertainment division to Disney a few years ago for $70+ billion? Fox Studios, Fox Entertainment, all of their Fox Entertainment assets sold to Disney.
That's right.
They retain Fox News, Wall Street Journal, New York Post, and those assets. So Fox right now is building a digital brand on the backs of black people. And you know what we doing? We're going, I'm on Tubi, I'm on Tubi, oh, I'm on Tubi, I'm on Tubi. Now, I understand the desire to have our content being places. What did Greg's brother say in the promo video? Bring your eyeballs home. I've been telling y'all, where black eyeballs go, that's where the advertising money goes. When you send black eyeballs to gossip, to mess, to entertainment, they gonna sit here and make it rain.
Yes, sir.
Tubi is trying to lock up several $100 million in ad money, and there's a declining number of dollars from broadcast networks coming to digital, and Tubi said, y'all know how we can sit here and grow fast as quick as possible? Let's sit here and go after all them Negro eyeballs with ratchet shows, with a bunch of bad movies, and I can't tell y'all how many group chats I've been in. Tubi, 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 Tubi. Why am I unpacking this in the way I am? Because I've been trying to explain to y'all how media works. If we are so powerful with these, and we can generate billionaires in all these other places, what in the hell can we actually do if we choose to say, you know what, I'm gonna lock my eyeballs on the Negro Leagues, and the Negro Leagues is really gonna be the major leagues. But you know what we do? We go, they letting us be in the major leagues.
Yes, sir.
And guess what happened? The major leagues took black talent, but did not bring in black owners.
Right.
Tubi is saying, black talent, I got you. And we like, yes. Feeding the beast. But man, they paying good money for movies. Why do you think they're paying good money for movies? Because the black eyeballs are there. There are black platforms that are out there. Do we support them? And and so now, y'all, if you causing Tubi to explode, all you doing is making Fox News more powerful.
Right.
That is what I'm trying to get us to understand. And it's hard for our people to step back and understand the media game that's at play. What y'all have been hearing Reese say and Greg say, you need to understand the infrastructure. See, we just turning on the radio, we just turning on TV. Ain't nobody saying, hold up, who own this? Who own this? Just like many of black folks who are public workers, y'all sitting here saying, y'all like, man, look at my 401k, but you're not asking who controls the pension fund and who is the investment firm that controls your pension fund, because what you will understand is one of the biggest Republican donors in America is Steve Schwarzman, who is the CEO of BlackRock, and they control trillions of dollars of capital in this country. So when you are excited that BlackRock is investing your money, what you are actually doing is funding the man who's funding the Republican Party. Y'all had better understand how this game is working. Greg, go ahead.
Yeah. No. I mean, here's the piece that I'm grappling with. I think we all are. The disconnect. On the question of reliability, there is no debate. We see you, me, Reese, Lauren, Scott, you name it, everyone who appears here 7 days a week, all of the shows, we all encounter this. Everywhere we go in the U.S., in the world, outside this country, I can testify to that. There is a reliability people associate with this program specifically. Reliability in information, reliability in stories. As you say, things you're not going to see anywhere. I sat and watched Eddie Reese Johnson's funeral, and because it was streaming here. So on the question of news, they say not the empty content, not the foolishness, there is a standard here. When I listen to at least the shows that black folk have on Sirius, I'm talking about news and commentary shows, Reese's show, Clay Kane, Joe Madison, Karen Hunter, there's a form of reliability there. When folks, and Karen says this sometimes, she says, in many ways, journalism is dead. Why? Because now you've got, and again, it's no shade at Shannon Sharp, there's no shade at everybody on YouTube. You got people commenting on news who aren't researchers, who aren't journalists, who don't have a background, and the eyeballs are being attracted because it's mixed in with this foolishness. The disconnect for me is, while these fascists, while these white nationalists, while these folks like the Heritage Foundation, funded by billionaires and subsidized by very people that we're subsidizing with our dollars, are lining up because they have the money to carpet bomb our sensibility. Boom. Christopher Rufo is a joke to take out the president of Harvard, and he got a degree from Harvard Extension and is down there messing around trying to create a whole new version of a school that was a legitimate university until DeSantis got a hold of it, that new school in Florida. While that's happening on our side, We can watch by the millions Cat Williams and Shannon Sharp. We can watch by the millions Gilbert Arenas and whoever else. We can watch by the millions Kwame Brown and whoever else is the flash to pan at the moment. But when it comes to news, Roland, this is what I'm trying to understand. Where is the disconnect when it comes to us bringing our eyeballs not only home, but home to a specific type of content when a Byron Allen has poured millions into a channel that nobody watches? When BET eliminated any even gesture toward news, where's the disconnect with our eyeballs for the things that will help us when you have been with this network and this specific show traveling in terms of dealing with voting rights, traveling in terms of activism and organizing, traveling in terms of the injustices our people face and how we are solving the problems of combating them? Where's the appetite for bringing our eyeballs to that specific vein of content? That's what I'm losing.
It is because we, again, have black people who are in the black space who want to operate in silos. And I'm gonna go to Reese in a second. I'm gonna say this. I was on a phone call and I told Byron when Black News Channel offered me a show, and it was a joke. I mean, y'all, like, it was so laughable. I literally said, I'm gonna do y'all the favor and not even respond. That's how bad it was, okay, y'all? So Byron asked me what it would cost, and I told him. Now here's the deal. I ain't got a problem saying it because it's true. When Byron bought Black News Channel assets, Byron could have licensed this show.
Yes.
Not to. Now here's the deal. I got no problem launching your own shows, but who's watching them? Listen, TV One celebrates its 20th anniversary on MLK Day on Monday. I was the face of the network.
Yes, sir.
I traveled this nation getting local cable people to carry TV One. I know I got an audience and I can bring eyeballs. So you want to launch something and nobody watch, or do you want to actually work with an existing partner? Don't think for a second when Tyler was talking about buying BET. Do not think for a second when Tyler was trying to buy BET that me and Tyler did not have a conversation. Why am I saying all of this? I'm saying all of this is because we as black people need to understand that the storm that is headed our way is a Cat 5. Reese, I don't think people understand. I'm gonna say this again. We are sitting here watching all kind of other stuff, and we ain't watching this news channel, and there's a Cat 5 that's brewing in the ocean that's gonna make landfall. And see, if you over here laughing and giggling and not watching that news channel, you can't prepare for the Cat 5. No. And then when the Cat 5 hits, you like, oh my God, what happened? Because your ass wasn't watching the news channel trying to tell you the Cat 5 is coming. You got Elon Musk right now, who is apartheid Elon Musk.
Yes, sir.
Who is using Twitter to drive racist messaging, who now is championing the notion that DEI is and black pilots having low IQs is the reason the door came off the American Airlines door. Now I need y'all to pay attention. That thing circulated on Twitter. Laura Ingraham had a panel discussion on Fox News. Matt Walsh, Daily Wire, is talking about it, same thing. So now they're saying, DEI is now the reason. You got Matt Walsh predicting that there are going to be airplane fatalities because of DEI. Frank Luntz posted, hadn't been a fatality in an airplane crash in America since 2009. Y'all, they literally are attacking every institution.
That's right.
And don't think for a second they're not coming after HBCUs. Just because the affirmative action rule against affirmative action affected PWIs, oh no, don't understand. And again, Reese, that's a Cat 5 brewing that's gonna make landfall. And we over here going, man, damn that shit, I ain't voting. I don't see enough of Kamala. She ain't really black. Damn Joe, cause he too old. Or forget this whole stuff. It's a Cat 5. Project 2025 is a Cat 7. This thing is coming. And that scene from Scandal, Joe Morton and Kerry Washington, you running your ass around in the field of daisies and they, run like they're a field of daisies and bombs are going on all around you. The media apparatus is how they are driving the messaging, Reese.
Right, absolutely. And I do have to say, there are Black people that have multifaceted interests, and you could watch Roland on at 6 to 8 and go watch the Cat Williams interview. They're not mutually exclusive. However, I want to address Dr. Carr's point about the disconnect, and I want to say that the disconnect is very much manufactured. We don't have a democratic media or even social media apparatus. Everything is algorithm to the point to where these algorithms and formulas, which by the way have bias already built in them, have figured out, or they've convinced themselves, which then drives what you see, what people want to see. And that is just a self-fulfilling prophecy, because what gets the clicks, what gets the attention is what people continue to see, not necessarily what all your interests are. If you go look at my Instagram Explorer page, you would think that 99% of my interests are hair videos and makeup videos. And I'm not good at makeup, and my hair is just very basic. And so these social media and the way that we get our news is very much manufactured, manipulated, and it's getting increasingly siloed. And that's why you don't see the information breaking through. That's why we need to invest in the information that people receive. That's why we have to interact with the information that we want to see if we want to keep seeing it. So that's really where the disconnect is, because it's something that is driven to us because we are signaling to it that that's what we want to see. And unfortunately, we bless too much mess. And I will be the first one to say, if I'm on video saying motherfucking boom, 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 that video is going to go more viral than if I'm sitting here buttoned up. Now, is that why I do it? No, I mean, I turn on the camera, what happens, happens. But I recognize that the reason why this is getting reposted on the blogs, and this is the reason why this has 1 million views, is because I'm giving the people what the algorithms say that the people want to see in the way that they want to see it. And so the only way to combat that, there's no organic way of combating things that are manipulated. There has to be an investment. And until we figure that out, that we either need to make the investment or we need to fight back with our eyeballs, and we need to fight back with interacting with the things that we want to see. There will continue to be this disconnect and this imbalance.
And let me be real clear. I need people to understand. I know Shannon. I ain't dissing Shannon. I ain't dissing Kat.
No.
But what I'm trying to get our people to understand is I know how the advertising mind works. I've been looking for this interview, and I'm going to find it. When OWN launched, and they were, the first 2 weeks, the numbers were through the roof. You know why? Because Black women kept coming. But they were like, well, where's stuff for us? After the first 2 weeks, OWN's numbers cratered. Because they were seeing the Judds, they were seeing Jenny McCarthy. They were like, where? They were like, where are the Black people? I'm just trying to tell y'all, and I'm telling you, Eric Logan, who was the president of OWN, told. So what I'm telling y'all is true. And I need y'all people, all y'all people watching, listening. I tell you, all I do is media since I was 14 years old. This is what my dedication, this is my ministry.
Yes, sir.
I watched it. They spent $381 million their first year. They were losing money like crazy. Oprah talked about being depressed. There was one show that did 466,000 views. about 70% of those people were black. It's called Sweetie Pie. Wow. Everybody keeps saying, oh man, wow. Tyler saved OWN. That was wow. That was OWN 2.0. No, wow. That was OWN 3.0. OWN 2.0, it was Sweetie Pie. Sweetie Pie. They were shocked with the black numbers. So you know what happened? Well, let's try one more show. Beverly Johnson. That's when Oprah patched up her relationship with Iyanla, brought Iyanla back. LaToya Jackson had a show. Flex and Sharnice had a show. Dion had a show. That was a show that I actually liked. It was the 3 white women. They were sisters. They were these older white women. They were hilarious. That was the last show on OWN that featured white leads. Ever since that show, and it started with Sweetie Pie, everything on OWN's been black. Everything on OWN has been black. I'm about to mess y'all up. Oprah, it was 50-50. Oprah sold her stake back to Discovery. What do you see on OWN now? Lot of reality shows. What happened to all that premium prestige content that was on OWN? I'm trying to get y'all to understand TV. When they launched, Sheila Johnson did an interview. And Sheila Johnson said they need more black content for them to survive. This is what Sheila Johnson said. She said, but people need to understand it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy because the advertisers say, no, don't show that stuff. Put on some games, put on some comedies, and put on some stuff, some award shows, and all the stuff they sprinkle in, and we'll fund that.
Wow.
We ain't gonna fund that. So what then happens is you put that on, algorithm, Reese was talking about, folk, oh yeah. Oh, guess what? They want more of that? Boom! Cable news is called a tent pole. A tent pole means successful show, and you build other shows around the tent pole. Mm-hmm. Housewives became a tent pole. You got Housewives Atlanta, New Jersey, New York, Beverly Hills. You got about 30 housewives.
Potomac? What the hell?
On OWN. Tent pole, Ready to Love. Tent pole, what is it? Love in Huntsville? What the hell is that thing called?
Love and Marriage Huntsville. I do watch that.
No. But remember, before Huntsville, it was Charlotte. See, it was tent pole. It was tent. See, how many of those shows have you now had? Tent poles. They're all the same. Guess who's targeting? And guess what? Black women, y'all the target. We, Lifetime. They all understand. The advertisers are like, put that on, put that on. That's what they're willing to fund. Mm-hmm. Do you understand? I'm gonna put this out here because I ain't got a problem doing it because they ain't sent us no money at all. And they just got rid of Kirk McDonald, who was a CEO of Group M. He was black, but they never gave us any money. Do y'all realize? Do y'all really want to understand why I launched all the Black Star Network shows in February of 2020? Was it 21 or 22? Why it was 2022? It's because we had a meeting with Group M, and Group M said, well, let's see your slate. Group M controls about $60 billion in advertising money, okay? 320, 340, 50 billion every year is being spent. So we showed them the slate of shows. Well, they didn't want to see the projected shows. They wanted to actually see the content. So I said, go ahead now. Against my better judgment, let's go ahead and launch the shows. So we did. Launch Faraji's show, Deborah Owens' show, Jackie's show, Greg Carr's show, brought in Stephanie Humphrey's show. Yeah. We were having those conversations with Group M in October, November 2021. Nelson Panero, I think that's who we were talking with. And we had a great call. Ty Brown and I had a great, he's a huge fan. That was late 2021. This is January 2024. Group M has not invested a single dollar in any show on this network, and they were the ones who said, you need to launch them before we put any money in. So we launched them. We launched them. It's understanding the media app and the media game. So I sit here and go, okay, group. Then it's like, well, hold up. Well, what are y'all doing? Hold up, what do you mean? And you can't give me the brand safe stuff because we've done stuff with Coca-Cola.
Yes, sir.
McDonald's,
yes,
Procter
sir.
& Gamble, General Motors. Those are 4 of the biggest brands in the world.
Right.
Because you've got individuals with these ad agencies and inside of these companies. And let me be real clear. We've talked to OMD, Mediacom, we've talked to Horizon, all of these different people. And it's the same, brand safe. But guess what ads we see on Tubi? We've done a content analysis. They've had some raunchy stuff air on Tubi.
Oh, sure. Oh, sure.
And guess what?
Sure.
You see many of those ads running in between those shows. So so I need the audience to now understand when we are talking about this ad agency that represents these brands refuse to spend money with us, our response has to be, like Dr. King said on April 3rd, 1968, we're not going to spend money with them. But as long as black people are so, oh my God, we've been entertained. As long as we keep watching, they're going to keep feeding us. And as long as we keep clicking that button and the algorithm's like, oh, they want more of that, they're going to keep feeding it. And then people then go, well, man, I don't understand why we can't build no black wealth. You cannot build black wealth if you haven't built something that can attract the dollars and then allow you to grow it in scale to be able to get bigger. The offices that we are in was an architecture company, y'all. They moved out of the office here and here.
Yes, sir.
If we were listen to me clearly, y'all. If we were getting our fair share of dollars right now, Black Star Network should be doing bare minimum $10 million in revenue a year.
Yes, sir.
If we were doing $10 million revenue a year, I would have that office and that office. You would have at least 30 to 40 people working for us. More shows, more content, doing the things that we actually say.
Yes, sir.
Y'all, that's what's going on here. And what I'm trying to get our people to understand is if you're not getting support, and trust me, we ain't got no billionaires, millionaires cutting us checks. And they know we exist.
Of course.
They know we're here.
Of course.
Then people then go, well, I don't understand now why we can't get more stuff. Y'all, this is the system, how it's operating. I showed y'all the story when BET, see if y'all can find it, New York Times story when BET got sold. I think it was 22 years ago. That was an analyst in the article who said black-owned media was getting 1% of the advertising dollars. 20 plus years later, it's still 1% or even less. So the reason I'm showing y'all the Tubies of the world, the reason I'm showing you that is because when we move our eyeballs to Tubi, we're making Fox more money. The same Fox that's killing us on Fox News. So as black people are making Fox richer with Tubi, we're funding our own demise because they are just sitting here float with Fox News. And that's why they can absorb a $787 million hit from Dominion, because they like, it's all good. We're going to make that money back off them black folks watching Tubi. Greg and Reese.
No, Roland, again, I'm thinking about this. I mean, I saw that, I guess, whatever, and you could walk us through the configuration between iHeartMedia and Breakfast Club, whatever. I saw Tiffany Cross, Angela Ryan, Andrew Gillum just launched a podcast or something, and they showed it on Tamron Hall. Now they launched their podcast, and I think about the quality again, the question of quality here. Real news, hard news, and really putting people into the platform space who need to be heard, everyone, all the stuff going on around the country. And I think about this in terms of quality. And again, this isn't any shade at Leonard McKelvey, but he's not a journalist. You sit him in the seat at Comedy Central, and then Roy Wood Jr. is there, who's a comedian, but who's clearly a cut above beyond any of them. I'm saying all this as a backdrop to this question I have for you, I guess, which is, is some of this, and I appreciate the fact you and Reese walking us through this algorithm and how it works as well, but are some of these decisions on whether or not to invest advertising dollars based on something other than revenue projections and
no, it's very, let me be very, very clear. It's a lot of it's whiteness. So let me explain. So
okay.
And I get it. Charlamagne has a podcasting network partnership. He owns it 50% with iHeart 50%, and that's called utilizing their scale. That's no different than what Jay-Z, when Jay-Z talked about when he launched his champagne brand. He said, I could have launched it myself, but I partnered with one of the largest, they have the expertise champagne companies. Now, what you're doing is you're leveraging scale. You're leveraging, so by launching the podcast network, Charlamagne's whole deal is, I'm gonna leverage iHeart Radio scale. They own all these radio stations. They own these other podcasts. They have all of these salespeople. They already have the relationships with advertisers, and so therefore, it's a scale issue. So I get it, totally understand it. That's business, that makes sense. The reason I'm talking about scale on the black side, the reason I went to black-owned media companies when we launched this, because I said, okay, y'all already have scale. Y'all already have infrastructure. Y'all already have sales teams. So versus me having to come in here, build it from scratch, trying to sit here and claw our way, why don't we partner? What I was trying to do with Urban One, Black Enterprise, Blavity, Essence, and all of them, and is the exact same, I'll throw in Byron Allen, was the exact same thing that Charlamagne did at iHeart. I simply said, why don't we partner, make this a black thing, and then you already have these assets. I will come in, do the digital programming, and what I'm doing, you're not even doing anywhere. And now let's utilize your scale. And so when your people go out to the same agencies, they can say, we have these assets. Now we're adding Roland Martin's digital show, adding the Black Star Network. So now there's a revenue share. And so now it becomes, now we can actually grow and now get some dollars we ordinarily would not be able to get. Now, why is iHeart also doing this? Because we busted our butt to create this black-owned media collective to force these companies to target black-owned media. So what do? If you create a partnership with an African-American black-owned company, you now can go after those black-owned dollars. Which is the same. So when we were going after the Biden administration to spend more money with black-owned media with federal government dollars, when that letter came from HHS talking about the percentage of the money of COVID money spent with black-owned media, they listed the black-owned media people and the black agency under black-owned media was OWN. I replied to them, OWN is no longer black-owned. It's no longer 50-50. Discovery owns 95% of it. So what we have to be mindful of when you have white media companies who want to create partnerships to go after black-owned media dollars, but we in black-owned media who are 100% black-owned, we get frozen out. So therefore, essentially, they are able to grow. So what happens is, And I'll say it, when the Biden campaign spent $6 million of the $281 million in 2020, they announced this as the historic spend, the most ever. Well, that wasn't saying much because what much spent beforehand. When you read the press release, most of the digital money was going to iHeart and Complex. Complex had the largest black digital reach. Who owned Complex? BuzzFeed. So that's why when people use the phrase black media, I go, no, there's black media, there's black targeted media, and black owned media.
Yes.
So we get caught up in the black targeted media. So black targeted gets 95% of the money. Black owned media gets screwed up. What I do, so when I'm arguing for black owned media, I'm not saying screw Charlamagne's podcast. No, he owns 50% of it. Fund them and us. Fund them and us and Essence and Blavity. And see, that's how I operate. It's almost $400 billion. Because here's the deal. Here's why I'm saying fund all of us. Disney can't eat all of it. So guess what they do? Disney, here's y'all cut. Comcast, here's y'all cut. Hearst, here's y'all cut. Scripps, Discovery, Warner, they all share in it. The upfronts are coming up right now in May. They're going to free, that's where 80% of the money is spent. Guess who doesn't even get to go to the upfronts? Us. Our money comes in the scatter market. I'm just going to get, for everybody listening, let me explain to y'all how the game works. 80% of the money gets spent in the upfronts. About 19% of the money gets spent in September in the second window. Then they have what's called the scatter market. The scatter market is the last quarter of the year. So in the last October, November, December, they can go, shit, how much we got left over? Damn, we got about 120,000. All right, let's give it to them black people over here. Our money comes in the scatter market. Our money don't come in the upfronts. That's the system. And so the reason we can't grow is because if I can't get more ad money, I can't do marketing. I guarantee you right now, we can blow up our numbers if I can run ads and run promos and do street teams and marketing, but I can't because my money is so tight. No, I got to watch every dollar. They don't. In this political year, every major media company right now is going, we're going to see a 40% increase in revenue. Every Sinclair, Liberty, all of them. And you know why they saying that? That's what's going to pay for them next year. And that's going to tide them over in 2025 because then they waiting for the midterms in 2026. And then they're going to make more money in the midterms. It's going to tide them over in 2027, and they waiting on the presidential in 2028. Those of us in black-owned media are completely frozen out in the presidential year. So therefore, we ain't got nothing left for 25. And then we holding on. I'm just going to let y'all know. We did well in 2020. I need y'all to understand what we made and did in 2020 paid for a lot of our stuff in 2021.
Yes, sir.
I'm just trying to, so we are not, so black people, we are on, come on, this end. This is where we are, right? Turn the camera. This is where we are. We're here. This is black people right here. This black people. We got the remote. We are not in the offices. This is us right here. We are the eyeballs. We're not the ones who are deciding what you actually see. So why is Taraji Henson complaining about her salary? Because we ain't the ones who are funding the movies.
Yes, sir.
What did Tyler Perry say? Tyler Perry said he paid Cicely Tyson $1 million for 1 day of work, because when she did Sounder, she got $8,000. Was it 8 or 3,000? She got like $8,000.
Yes, sir.
Cicely Tyson, in her last 10 to 15 years of life, Tyler Perry paid her what she had never gotten in her career. Tyler Perry said he's paid other female actresses a lot more money for 1 day or 2 days work because what they never got paid. Taraji said that her scale was set when Tyler paid her what she was actually worth. Ain't that interesting that it was somebody black who was the decision maker who paid Taraji her worth? Y'all, we gotta understand the economics of this. And everything y'all have heard us discuss in the last hour and 15 minutes, that literally is Dr. King's sermon on April 3rd, 1968.
Yeah.
He literally was talking about the money.
Yeah.
And he literally named the companies that black people should not spend with. He literally said to black people, invest and put your money in black banks and black insurance companies. He literally said in his sermon that black people are individually poor, but collectively we represent one of the largest economies in the world. What I'm trying to say to black people and to conscious non-black people who are watching, Reese said we are driving the algorithm. So if we can drive 43 million views of Kat and Shannon talking, and I'm not hating.
Come on.
Can we drive 20 million on this? Alphas and AKs and deltas and kappas and iotas and sigmas and zetas. Hope I mentioned everybody. What happens? Divine Nine rented out movie theaters. Listen to me, y'all. The Divine Nine rented out movie theaters to help The Color Purple earn almost $25 million on Christmas Day.
Mm-hmm.
That money is going to Warner Brothers, which is Discovery.
Yes, sir.
Can the Divine Nine decide as a collective that they are going to pick 4 books to put on the New York Times bestseller list every single month? Same scale, same institutions. Can you imagine Divine Nine and the Lynx and the Prince Hall Masons and the Eastern Star say we're gonna take our collective members and we're going to say, these are the 4 books that we're buying in January. These are the 4 books that we're buying in February. These are the 4 books that we're buying in March. Folks, it's the money. But we have to be willing to use our collective power. And this is all Dr. King was trying to tell us before he was assassinated in 1968. Final comments, Reese, then Greg.
The reality is that black people are always a sure bet when you want a return on our investment. And so we just have to stop being a bargain. And we have to continue to drive the culture, drive what's validated, but we have to be the validators validating ourselves. Roland mentioned the New York Times bestseller. We shouldn't wait until something is a New York Times bestseller to then say we're going to buy it. Oh, now it's a New York Times bestseller. We can drive the conversation. We can drive things forward as we have always been doing to our benefit. And that's what we need to start doing. We have to harness that collective power because individually we don't have the power to change it on our own. But we recognizing our collective power can make the difference to our benefit. It's not charity. It's a return on investments for ourselves in a way that we all benefit and we're better off for it.
And to that point there, and y'all, I've told y'all this, that control room was built by a black engineering company. These lights were installed by a black lighting company. That green screen was purchased from a black drape company. That news desk was built by a black set design company. So when you invest in black-owned media, we're investing in black companies. Those people have employees and families. That's how it works. So when we talk about why you have to buy black or support black-owned media, then, because guess what? When the money is going to Discovery and Comcast and Viacom and Disney, that's going to the shareholders.
That's right.
And we already know only the top 10% folk in this country, the top 10% of the country owns 93% of stocks.
Yes, sir.
So again, I'm not saying, oh, don't support The Color Purple. Don't support Black Panther. I'm saying support black movies. But what I'm also saying, while we are saying support black movies, we also have got to be saying, where the black executives on these movie sets? Where's the black catering companies? Taraji talked about them. They were trying to get them to drive themselves or put themselves in the van. I'm sorry, who has the transportation contract? Let's stop being enamored with the black face in front of the screen. Or, oh, we got a black director. We need to have a 360-degree economic view that goes beyond us. And this is where we've got to stop, Greg, just being so excited to see a black face. And again, I'm not dissing Jackie Robinson, but we were so elated with Jackie Robinson going to the major leagues, and we said, man, we gonna show these white folk we just as good. We were already great. Dizzy Dean said the best talent was in the Negro Leagues.
Right.
But we were so fixated on going to the major leagues that it literally killed the Negro Leagues.
That's right.
And you know what they did? They said, y'all come on. Bring us all your talent and bring your eyeballs, because y'all gonna buy tickets and y'all gonna buy jerseys. And guess what? They did not say, let's bring one of these team owners.
No, sir.
Abe Saperstein, his goal. Abe Saperstein's goal. He wasn't black, but Abe Saperstein's goal was for the Harlem Globetrotters to be an NBA team.
Yes, sir.
And do you know what they did? They drafted a Harlem Globetrotter player.
That's right.
And there never was a black team, and there wasn't a black owner in the NBA until Bob Johnson, who sold the team to Michael Jordan, who has now since sold the team.
That's right.
We got to stop giving folks our labor and not getting our reward back. Greg, go ahead.
Yes, sir. No, Roland, you know, it reminds me, this time, just a little bit, last month, this time in 2022, you covered the Celebration Bowl. It's a beautiful moment. And I went down, I was there, and I was there this last year. I went to the Battle of the Bands, the old HBCU marching band alum, myself, Tennessee State Band. Very few people there. But it bothered me because the Battle of the Bands, Jackson State and North Carolina A&T, Virginia State, Florida Memorial, branded by these white companies that when they're beginning to understand they can just harvest our cultural capital and profit. And of course, Celebration Bowl was you know, it was 40-some thousand people there, Florida A&M and Howard. Willie Simmons, the champion, Florida A&M champion coach, now the running backs coach at Duke, because his dream is to be the coach of a Power 5 conference football team. White validation. I got nothing against Willie Simmons, but and then Florida A&M alumni trying to raise money to keep him, raised $100,000 very quickly. That ain't no money in the era of Nick Saban and all the rest of these plantation sports complexes. You're not gonna beat them with the dollar, but this is where I'm going with this. We are watching now, everybody watching, Some people on fixed income. Some people don't have the capacity. You have made a firm commitment to create a network that is accessible and free to anybody who wants to bring their eyeballs to it, regardless of how they bring it in this over-the-top platform. Whether they got a Fire Stick at Amazon, whether they are watching on YouTube or Facebook, whether they have downloaded the app, whether they're going through all these, but you've made it there. Those of us who have the ability to invest in that vision, if everybody does a little, nobody has to do a lot. You can't raise enough money to keep a football coach whose dream is to coach in the white league at the HBCU, but you can certainly make enough of a contribution to keep the clean glass of water standard of Black news media available to all of us, particularly when these folks who are our open enemies will not invest in it, not only because they want to keep the money for themselves, because they know what will happen as our imaginations are fed and our information is fed by a standard of news that will, in fact, do the kind of things the Black press used to do. This is why everyone who is able must invest in this space. If not for yourself, for the people who would but don't have it, who don't know yet that they need it. And we've got to, especially as we're going into 2024, when this may be for all the marbles, we better be very serious about that now. So that's all I wanted to say, brother. And thank you for continuing to keep that faith.
I'm going to close this out this way, because I just think sometimes y'all need to have a visual understanding of how you invest and how there's a return on that. So we started the show off and we played for you an interview that I had with Tennessee Representative Gloria Johnson. This is the interview right here. And I just want y'all, everybody watching, just understand. So that was next to the green room in the student center where I spoke. It was just me. I don't travel with people. But I want you to understand, I just need y'all to understand how that happens. So we're sitting in there. So this is a DJI Action selfie stick. Okay, that's what this is. So we're sitting there, and I'm like, I didn't know she was gonna be there. I said, hey, let's sit down and do a quick interview. So fine. I said, I need about 5 minutes. We did a 9-minute interview. So all I simply did was sit there and take this $49.99 selfie stick, this here, with this $399 DJI Action camera, and then put this here on here, and then take this $329 DJI Action wireless wireless microphone, connected to this particular camera. There was already good lighting in there, and sat there and did the interview. And so some of y'all sitting here going, damn, hold up. You mean tell me? Yep, that's right. I sat there, set it up myself, put this whole thing together, and then did that. Another interview I did was with Reverend Middlebrook, who is one of the co-founders of the event. He was there in Memphis with Dr. King on April 4th, 1968. I'm gonna share that interview with you, with y'all later. Plug that up, put these 2 microphones on me and Gloria. That's how we did the interview. This whole setup right here, y'all, you helped pay for, is $800. It would have cost me $800 to hire a camera person to come out and do all that work, but I pulled this out of my backpack. Why am I saying all of this here? We don't have CNN money. We can't afford to say, oh, we're gonna have a camera op and a producer travel with you and go around doing interviews. This is how we make this happen. This is how we make it happen. We get it done. This is a DJI Action 4 camera. I asked them, are y'all live streaming my speech? They said yes. Keenan is sitting here, the stream wasn't up. Keenan said, man, I don't see the feed. Not a problem. Sat this bad boy here on the podium, recorded my speech. When I get home, I'm gonna upload it to Keenan. We're gonna live stream the speech later. Yes. This camera's $399. I'm saying all of this because we are gonna do what Black people do. We gonna make it work.
Yes, sir.
We're going to make it work.
Yes,
we're going to
sir.
get the content. We're going to make it work.
Yes, sir.
But I need our people to understand we will never be able to achieve scale and have 20, 30, 50, 100 people, have crews in multiple states, have us going into the election season. We should have folks who are our go-to people in North Carolina, in Florida, in Wisconsin, in Philadelphia, in Michigan. We don't have that. Yes. Nobody else has it. I played you the Hakeem Jeffries comment. When the Congressional Black Caucus comes out of their weekly meetings on Wednesday, there's not a single black press person out there waiting on them. Because we can't afford to pay a congressional correspondent $100,000 just to cover Congress. I told the CBC, if we were able to get just $2 million of the $1 billion the federal government spends every year on advertising, I will hire 3 correspondents and 3 videographers in 90 days. I told them that. But I need the Congressional Black Caucus to be putting pressure on these agencies to say, who y'all spending money with? Department of Defense spending $600 million a year. Who you spending money with? I met with OMD, who controls the U.S. Army budget. They ain't got back with me. Do you understand what I'm saying here? This is what I'm trying to get our people to understand.
Yes.
It is not that we cannot do it. It is not that it's not going to be quality. Because y'all see this show. I was in Jamaica, and I pulled up the show. I was like, and I never get to be on that. I said, damn, the show looked good. And there were some things I didn't like what I saw. Change this. Okay, I want y'all to tweak this here. But the bottom line is, I'll put this up against the other networks.
Oh, no question.
But we are never going to be able to cover more of what we need to cover as long as we are scrambling for dollars every single month.
Yes.
And so this year, let me be clear, I'm putting pressure on the political people. I'm going to tell y'all right now, I've made it perfectly clear to a lot of these groups out here, environmental group, pro-choice groups, progressive groups, campaigns, the number is 10 million. $10 million in advertising on this platform between now and November. That's my number. Because you know who else has a number? Sinclair.
Come on.
NBC, ABC, CBS, Fox, they all have numbers. I made it clear, my number is 10 million for advertising. The 10 million for advertising is going to allow me to go on the road and do 4 to 6 town hall broadcasts every single month. It's going to allow me to go spend a week hitting 5 cities in North Carolina, taking the show on the road. Do y'all understand when Fox News has a town hall, how that gets paid for? The town halls that you see on CNN and Fox News cost between $500,000 to $750,000. One town hall. But you can spend $750,000 on a town hall when you getting $1.2 billion.
Yes, sir.
This is what I want us to understand. So when a lot of y'all sit here and say, oh man, you sitting here trying to beg them for advertising, Fox, CBS, NBC, ABC, New York Times, Washington Post, Wall Street Journal, USA Today, Sinclair, Liberty, all of these media groups, all of these media companies right now are calculating how much money they're going to get. So those of us in black-owned media shouldn't be doing the exact same thing? Every black person who whines and complains when I talk about this stuff, how in the hell do you think they are able to do what they do? And guess what? When we get our fair share, then we can say, yeah, we're going to do a $50 million movie, and yeah, Taraji, here's your $1 million. Yes, so-and-so, here's your $2 million. Every time you hear a story of a black movie, a black network, a black production, having to do stuff and try to pull and put. It's because the money was not there. Yeah. Y'all, it's there. They just don't want to spend it with us. Until we put that pressure on them to say, oh, that's going to be return on investment. I'm going to say it right now. General Motors, y'all didn't spend no money with us last year. I'm expecting an allocation in 2024. Toyota, it's a bunch of black people buy Toyotas. Where are y'all at? Ford, where are you at? Chrysler, where are you? Wagoneer, where are you? Hyundai, you got a black CEO. A lot of black folks buy Hyundais. Are you spending your fair share with black-owned media? That's just in the automotive sector. Pharmaceuticals. Oh, we know y'all love depending on black people. Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, all these pharmaceuticals, where is the money? Black folks, when we get our fair share there, you're gonna see more shows, food shows. You're gonna see more specials. You're gonna see more show hosts. You're gonna see, guess what? A morning news show. You're gonna see weekend programming. The exact same way CNN and Fox and all were built, we can do the exact same thing. But as Dr. King said, we have to operate in the collective in order to make it happen. Reese and Greg, I appreciate y'all being on today's show. Thank you so very much. Folks, I hope you have a much better understanding of the media landscape. We started this thing off trying to explain to you how media drives narrative politically. We then segued into why progressives and liberals should be funding more of their own media so they're not sitting here saying, why is our messaging so bad? Then we segued into trying to explain to you the infrastructure on how we as black folks, how we drive the revenue of largely white media companies, Tubi, Disney, Comcast, and all of these different companies. And then we segued into black-owned media. This is not hard, y'all. We have the knowledge and the expertise and the know-how. We, as we gear up for Dr. King's birthday, should be doing the exact same thing he told us to do on April 3rd, 1968, and that is to use our power and make it clear, if you are not doing right by us, we are not going to do right by you. If you want to join our Bring the Funk fan club, our goal every year is this, folks. Our goal every year is to get 20,000 people of our fans to contribute on average $50. Now, if 15,000 people contribute $100, well, we achieve our goal. But the point is this: if our fan base is able to contribute $1 million, that really helps us out tremendously as we're fighting the battles to get the additional advertising dollars. And so you can see your check and money order to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C., 20037-0196. Cash App, $RM Unfiltered. PayPal, Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle, Roland at RolandSMartin.com, Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Folks, we do not have 100,000 downloads of our Black Star Network app. Let's hit that number. Download the Black Star Network app right now. We're on all platforms: Apple, Android, Apple TV, Android TV, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Xbox One, Samsung Smart TV. Download on all of those platforms. You can watch our channel also on Plex TV. We're on Amazon News. Just go to Amazon Fire, check us out there. Amazon Freevee, and on Amazon Prime Video. Folks, that's it. I will see you guys tomorrow right here I'm Roland Martin Unfiltered, University of Tennessee, Knoxville. Thank you so very much. To the MLK Commission, thank you so very much. I'm going to be in Islip, New Jersey on Saturday for the MLK event. I'll be in Charlotte on Sunday. I will have a graphic for you, and then I'll be in Indianapolis at the Madam C.J. Walker Legacy Center on Monday. So I'm on the road Saturday, Sunday, Monday, back in studio on Tuesday. All right, folks, see you tomorrow. Halt! Black Star Network is here.
Oh, no punch!
I'm real revolutionary right now.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, there's a difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig?